Okay, Benji, we are live. Woohoo!
Hello. Very exciting. Very exciting. This is the English version of exciting.
It's very boring. Okay, so that is good. I like being live. So welcome everyone. If you are watching, we're going to try and do some theming in React today. As you all know, my theming skills are not, well, my theming skills are good, but my React skills are not. So I'm going to show you what I've done, Benji. Then you can tell me how we can improve it, right? So
okay, let's do it.
I'm going to share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Here we go. There we go. So here's my screen, right? Let me just show you what I've done first. I've created like a mini application, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a header, it's got some buttons, it's got some text here, etc. And like this is a store, right, with product cards, etc. And I've created some various different stores. I created a perfume store as well. So the perfume store like should be, you know, like pink colors, and I want to basically theme these different colors, right? So this is the idea, that each of them are style. You can see this one has changed a little bit, etc. Right? So in order to do that, I'm using CSS Variables, and I have just created some like, you know, root colors, primary color, secondary color in each of the applications themselves. And then I'm overriding some of them that I didn't like. And that's what I'm doing. So this is in the actual like application.
You're overriding some of the actual CSS
variables.
Not just the variables, you're actually overriding the CSS itself. So in .hero, you're overriding the color rather than just adding a new value for the variable.
Yeah, because I added CSS variables with a default. So if there's no value, take a default. And this one I'm adding a value. So it basically like adds this color. It doesn't override it. It's using this one instead of the default, right? Does that make sense?
The color that you have.
So if we go to the hero component, for example, right?
Yeah, go to the hero and let's see what the color is in there.
And the hero is like these. It's
so
vars.
Taking the secondary color. So here the color for the link is.
Yeah, this one I don't have defaults, but I do have defaults. I have defaults on the button, maybe. Do I have defaults?
It's okay. It's okay if you don't have defaults. But
like this one here, right?
How it's, okay, yeah.
So this is so primary color or default. So therefore, if I don't give you a primary color,
yeah, exactly. If you don't have the variable defined, then you'll take the default. Right. Now in the hero, you defined in the kind of base hero components, which is what you're using in all these various apps. You define what the color should be. You haven't actually defined the color for the hero. You define the color for a link inside a hero.
Oh yeah, that's a different situation.
So maybe you need to add a color if you want to have a color variable.
Yeah, like this is just for color. Like this can just be, you know, black, for example. Always paste it right.
You probably want to have this as a variable as well, no? Because you've got text color, right? So you can change the text color for your whole site, and then that text color will come in for. But do you want to use secondary color? Or do you want to use?
No. I'm going to put text. I was just copying.
Very good.
The text color and black.
If you go back to your site, you don't need that .hero CSS that you added in there, because that's exactly the same thing we just did now. Right?
Yeah.
We just did it for all the heroes, so you don't need that there. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
That's the first
Adios.
one. Right. Now, in your root, what you might want to do is have a theme provider component. And then in that theme provider component, you can supply it the various themes, the various variables you want for your various sites. So instead of hard coding it into the site. Now, it's not terrible to hard code it like this, to have primary color, etc. Inside the site itself.
Okay. Hey, everyone in the chat. Hello and welcome. I see a few friendly faces there in the chat, so welcome. If you have any questions, let us know. You have a button there, Benji. You should be able to see the chat as well, just on the comments. Should have everything there.
I got private chat. Okay, got it.
You can't see the proper ones. Oh, you'd have to open the YouTube link. Whatever, never mind. I'll control the chat anyway.
No problem. Okay.
Yeah, so this
No,
is the only way I know how to do it, as in you add something at your root level, defining what your variables are, that then gets filtered down. So like coming from the Tailwind CSS world, this is like, you know, where I would be a lot used to. I would be defining a Tailwind config file with all these variables that then overrides any of my components throughout my application. So every application would have a Tailwind config, which configs this kind of stuff, right? So we're not in Tailwind, we're in normal React world. So this is my understanding of how to do it by creating this. This is my like config file, right? I go in here, I modify something. If I change that color to pink, it will then be, you know, orange. If I change it to orange here, then that one will be orange across the website, only on that application.
Right. So if you have a different theme per every application, then that would make sense. If you have kind of a base theme, then you want to override some parts of it, and you don't have to rewrite the same variables throughout all of the sites, because they're all using kind of base theming, but you're going to change a few things like some of the button colors, whatever. Then you want to kind of create a base theme. You can create that as a bit component. And then you would override parts of it by adding in some override, like an override kind of class, I guess, an override class that would override the ones that you want to add on or you want to kind of change. Okay, so do you have any of these like constant over all of your sites? Is a kind of a consistent underlying theme?
So I was just playing around and just like changing them all just for, you know, differences, but some of them I'd like to have
like,
two of them.
The roundness of buttons and stuff. I mean, I guess you want them all to kind of look similar in how round the buttons are and that kind of thing.
And the card, for example, with the, you know, border radius, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of to componentize all that, you can create essentially components with bit that would, one component holds the CSS with the variables, and another component and exposes that as a kind of an import. Another component is the theme context, that in which you can apply any one of those other components as and when you want to kind of retheme some site or change the theming of something. And it's not just the theming of your the colors. You also have the fonts, like you've added in font family here. You can add in the different types, the kind of sections of theming. So you can have grid theming as one part of your theme, and then you have colors as another part, and then you have kind of, you know, header styles and sizes and all these kind of definitions that can be kind of sectioned off, and then each one can be applied or overridden as and when you need. I don't know if you need to apply all of that to these sites, but it's just kind of to give an idea of how you can componentize even your theming, so that you can kind of pick and choose which bits to take in and out, rather than having to have all of your theming inside one root kind of class, and then that applies to everything in your site. And you can also have theming that applies only to certain sections of your site. Let's say you have a site and you want to have all the site as a whole themed in one way, but then you have, I don't know, a billing section that you want to have kind of look a bit more, I don't know, professional or whatever it is you want to look like. So that's also how a theming component can give a context to a specific subset of your site. And you can wrap it around the whole site if you need. Another advantage of having a theming component is that you can have, in bits specifically, when you have something called compositions, you can then theme all of your compositions from the outside using the bit environment to apply a composition, to apply a context on all of your compositions via this theming component. It's like a wrapper component that you apply, that you add as in kind of around the app, you know, another tag around the app, and then that kind of inserts whatever theming you wanted into all of its children.
Okay.
So we can demonstrate that here is kind of very briefly.
Yeah. Okay.
For instance, if you changed root to just being some name, you know, just a theme,
like
theme styles or something. Right, and then you can actually add that theme styles as a class inside your app part of your, you do it without the dot, I guess. Inside on the app tag, and that will do exactly the same thing as using the root.
Okay, so somewhere in layout.
Yeah, you can do it on layout if you want. Class name.
Class name. Oh, I hate when that does that. It sometimes thinks I want to do something else.
Class name.
Class name equals styles, and it has to be.
Yeah, because you've done
like, oops, go back. There we go. Like this, right? And it's importing styles.
And then, and you haven't got a root anymore, so
React application, not Nuxt. We're doing React today. And do we have a Discord server? No, we have a Slack channel. So if you want to chat to us about Bit, we have a Slack channel. You'll find the link in our GitHub repo and our documentation, etc. Okay, so
that will do exactly the same thing as applying at the root, right?
Okay, so there's our.
Which store is it? Is this one?
The shoe store. Yeah.
So this looks different than it looked before, no? The coloring looks
different. Because there's a little bug at the moment in Bit where roots are leaking in between different ends. They're fixing it.
Another reason why not to use root is that you can have everything kind of incorporated in your app rather than kind of trying to use browser level things. So
because root is high level and it's just going to like affect everything. And I've got 4 applications running in the one area, so it's kind of like
so now I can use it like this. Is this actually applying the right styles now?
So look, if I take the perfume store, for example, and do the same thing here. So this is themed styles, right? And put it in here. We should get pink because perfume is pink, right?
Yeah. Girly. Yeah.
Okay. So now we go to perfume store. Should work.
Yeah. Compositions. Scroll down.
There you go. You can see it's pink. It's a lighter color pink, but it's pink.
Okay, cool. So
you can see the shop now is pink.
Yeah. So this is kind of a great way to apply variables, is to actually just pass it as a class.
Beige.
Beige.
And blue.
Yeah. Nice. But you got stylish shoes in white on a white background. White on white.
Okay. I think Benji's frozen there a little bit. He's frozen in time.
Oh, yeah? You can't see me?
Are you with us, Benji?
I am.
So, you can see in Bit, these are modified dependencies.
Can anyone see me? Can you hear me? Wait. Oh, wow. Lost my connection. Hello, can anyone hear me? So I'm okay, maybe it's Debbie's internet.
Hey!
Aha! It wasn't me, it was you.
My internet went. How did my internet die?
Okay.
Like, that's really weird.
Thanks for telling me that you can see me. Here's me trying to kind of thinking no one can see me, I can do whatever I like. It's a good thing I didn't
Yeah, that's the really funny thing is that I'm the host. So my internet died, but the broadcast continued, which means it's kind of not my internet, but it is my internet. That's really weird.
As in the broadcast is happening on the server, but your internet is your connection. I don't know. Anyway, should we go back?
Anyway,
should we go to React?
Let's go back to React.
To the interesting things. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to share my screen again now.
Yeah.
I'm probably sharing to too many channels. I did tell you I was checking this out and testing out streaming to multiple platforms, and that's probably not a good idea. But you know what?
I
like to live on the edge.
You need to get fiber.
I have fiber. I have like 500 megas, and I'm plugged into cable.
500 megas. Blimey. Okay. So you should
or
be able
more.
to
I've like 600. It's like, no, yeah, my streaming capabilities are fantastic. I just don't know why it decided. But sometimes they do like cut the cables when they're like putting internet into others' apartments and stuff, and sometimes things happen. So it has been known that, like, yeah, 1 minute I'm working, and the next minute I look out the window and I see the van downstairs, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
we cut the cables again. Okay, thank you, everyone. We are back. So yes, the perfume store is pink, right, as you've seen. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we got some kind of basic theming going just by applying a class, right?
Yeah.
So there's kind of two sides to theming, right? The first side is making sure your CSS is themable by applying variables like you did with some default values. If you don't want to, if you don't have, some reason you're hooked up to variables being applied from above, and then so this way you can actually apply the theming at whatever level you want. You can actually have different themes for the full app, and then have kind of a more specific theme for part of the app. Change the button types for you have a cool new feature that you want to show off. So you change the variable for that feature or anything inside that page. So you can really control how your theming is working on a kind of.
So I could change the product card layout, for example.
Yeah, you can change. So you can do it. Why not do it now? Let's add a different color for text color. The text color here is probably the same. I don't know. Yeah, different color for text color. Why not?
Yeah, so it's all coming through on the. So where's my product cards?
So you wouldn't do it on the product card. You do it here. You would do it here.
I would do it here.
Yeah. Oh, so in the same place you did that in your Css file.
So I'm in the shoe store, right? Okay.
So here you can just do another one, which would be .product theme or product theme.
Oh, product theme.
Right, and then you want to do text color, some wacky color, green or something, I don't know. So you can see the difference.
Okay.
Right.
Unknown property text color.
Dash text color, sorry. You want to do a variable.
You want to change. Okay.
You change the variable,
I'm overriding the variable. Okay. Get it.
Exactly. Now, so apply product theme just to your product level of your app.
Yeah, otherwise it won't work.
Add it as a class name. Yeah.
So this would be. This is in the home page. So in here.
I think
what is it called? Product theme.
Yeah, exactly. You need to use like CS class name.
I need to wrap it in.
Work. Yeah, in the C. Have you imported class name? Class names?
I think so. No, probably not, but I can do it.
Just add it at the top, yeah.
Class
you have
names.
To put that in. It has to be inside the curly brackets.
Okay. See, this is the bit this is new for me in the React world. We don't have these. Basically, you're just allowing classes. Let me put it up here. Import class names from
small class names. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So this is. I can just close that. We don't need that running. We don't need it showing. So I'm basically just using the class names library to basically say I want to add more than one class name in here, right? That's what we're doing.
You can add more than one class name, but you want to add more than one class name programmatically. So with that curly brackets, I'm sure there's a way to do it as well without that. Maybe you have to do it in an array or something. I don't know. But this is the kind of classic way of. You can do all sorts of ternary operators and that kind of thing. So it's just a good way of applying classes.
Okay, so I'm applying it on the shoe store. Yeah, and I did product theme.
When you close the terminal, did that not close the local server?
No, I just pushed it over there.
Okay. Cool. So this should
Product
have a
theme.
text color. The text should now, anything that uses text color should now go green.
Let me refresh it to make sure.
It should refresh by itself. So if it didn't refresh by itself, then there's a reason. There must be a reason why it's not going green. Who's using text color?
Good question. Let me scroll down a bit. No, there's nothing more. This should be text color. Oh, it's using tertiary color.
Okay.
Should I just override that? I think text color
what's the regular text using? Is the regular text using anything? So yeah, who's using text color? Who's using text color? You can just do a Control-Shift-F on your whole project and then see who's...
Command-Shift-F, that doesn't work.
Not here inside the Visual Code.
Yeah. I think, well, I normally just do it here.
You can do that. Control-Shift-F or Command-Shift-F does the same thing.
Yeah, but I like it here. So the shoe store is using that. That's over to override. I don't want to override it.
1 second.
That's sometimes annoying.
Oh, I see. But you're now overriding it with nothing.
I didn't override it. That's just a preview. That's just Visual Code thinking I want to do something that I don't want to do. So the hero module is using the text color.
Right, but this is inside the hero module, I guess.
The hero's in the hero in the top.
Yeah, so this is outside of that. So that wouldn't be using this new color that we created. So let's just use tertiary color so we can just apply it to something that we know shows up.
Okay, so let's...
Yeah, so let's go back to store module, shoe store module. Yeah, and here instead of text color, we use tertiary color. Yeah.
And now we should get green because the product card is using it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think?
Let's go back.
Not really, eh?
The compiling.
I don't know.
You're trying to refresh the page?
Yeah, it's gone. Like.
I think you F11 maybe. Did you F11?
I'll just do R. No, I don't have F11 is music for me. Oh, look, I'm on a different thing now. I refreshed. So let's go back to, what were we on, the shoe store?
Shoe store, yeah.
So, no, that did not work.
So let's have a look and analyze why it didn't work.
It's in the title module. It's using the title module tertiary color. So let's have a look at where it's placed in the app. I've put it in the home page, and the home page includes
the title. Home page includes the hero.
Like this is the prop of the hero. So maybe I should do it one up.
No, it should be okay. Interesting. Does it have another?
Oh, did I spell it right? The product theme? Yeah, no, product theme. I did. That's okay.
Product theme. Yeah, that seems all right.
So if I was to, let's just put it up here with the other one, just to see if it's a cascading issue.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm getting them all at the top level.
Yeah, the class names. You need the class names on the top level.
What? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's see if that works.
Yeah. So it's a cascading issue.
Okay, it shouldn't be a cascade issue. So why was there an issue there? Let's have a look.
I think it's because the this one here is the actual, like it's the component that's using the product card that's rendering it, right? So it's not the parent, it's the actual.
Unless
like it's the home page.
Should we look at the home page itself? Can we look at the home page itself?
So the home page also has CSS classes.
Right, but let's see how it's set up, because it might just not be applying the class names inside it. Go to the home page, TSX. So it's getting in class names. Where does it apply the class name?
Into the hero.
And that's called class name. And what are we using over here? How do we apply it? Under class name or class names? Class name. I just want to make sure everything's kind of connected up right. Because over here you're adding in class name in all sorts of places.
Yeah, everywhere.
Right, so you should really only apply it once.
Okay.
So for instance, if you're applying it on the hero level, and then there's a heading inside the hero, then you apply class name twice to the same thing.
And that's another component. So I wanted to add a different heading title and a different link color. So I just had class name everywhere, because like that's me learning React.
I bet. So it's trying to remove it from certain places and then kind of see which places are actually kind of like where it actually applies to. And also the styles. Where's the styles coming from? It's from the home page's own styles, yeah? It's got its own SAS module. So if you've got styles.hero being applied twice, you probably want only one hero styles. So if you go back to the main page, the main page, the app, the shoe store app.
Okay, that's
the shoe store, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you can see inside the home page, you've got a styles.hero being applied there. On line 38.
Yeah.
So you only really want to have one place where you're styling your hero, unless you want to restyle the hero. I guess you want to restyle the hero from different places, but it kind of gets confusing when you call it the same name. So really you want to have one kind of styles hero and then kind of a theme that passes down and then restyles whatever you want to restyle, rather than having styles.hero pass 3-4 times, different kind of definitions for styles.hero. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
No? like here, we've actually removed the styles.hero, what you had before we deleted, right? So it doesn't even exist here now in the CSS.
Because I put the product theme there. Well, yeah. No, I think because we actually personally deleted the CSS.
Literally deleted it, yeah, because we didn't need it there because we just added the variable inside.
So this one could actually just like you tidy it up like that.
It's a sign that you've done that. There's something kind of not quite like designed properly. If you have to do styles.hero a few different times in a few different places, it means you're not kind of putting it all together in the one place. It needs to kind of define what the hero styles are, or even just define what the variables are or the themable parts of hero styles are. That should be one place, and then you'd be theming it from above so that you can kind of change that as and when you need to. So let's say the home page. Let's go back to your home page component now. So we wanted to add product theme to the home page, right? And for some reason it wasn't getting added.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So we were trying to add product theme and add through the class name. So I can just go.
Oh, because no, here just has a margin top, so there's no.
Yeah.
There's nothing here.
What you might want to do in your hero, for instance, is add in a margin top, do a margin top variable, which can be then themed from outside, and then add a kind of a default value of 3rem, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So then you have your 3rem inside the hero. You want to try and keep as much of your styling inside the hero itself, and then leave it open through variables to outside influences to restyle that according to, some theme that it itself has or whatever. But you want to have your hero itself have kind of its own styling in itself. So if you're adding a styles here, margin top, you want to make that some sort of variable that would then affect the hero styling itself, rather than the kind of restarting the hero 4 or 5 times. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, so like the colors. Do the same with the margin as I did with the colors.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's kind of as part of a theme. A theme can define all of these. Okay, so you want to try and work out why that product theme didn't work. So the product theme was trying to apply the color to which part of it actually? In the homepage, where was the color getting applied?
So the homepage also has a layout. Funny.
Right.
Probably shouldn't, because the app has the layout, so it probably doesn't need to be here, I'm guessing. And then it renders the hero component.
What does the layout do?
It's just a CSS grid.
Okay. So yeah,
with gaps, just like with gaps between components. That's all.
You might need it here as well, because you might want your homepage to have its own grid. I mean, it might not live in a place which has a grid, so it's good to have the layout here as well. So as the hero, it has a link, and then it has product card grid. So product card grid is what's getting the styles, right? These variables. That's what the green is applying to, yeah.
The product card grid, yeah. So the green was coming in from here, exactly. And this, shall we go to it?
Yeah, let's have a look.
So I put this in a product folder. So the product card grid is just it's just a grid, right? But the product card is a header, footer, title, image. And as you can see, it has no color.
Right. So it just gets the color from the outside. Right?
No, because it's using another component. So it's using a title component.
Okay.
So the text that we changed green is using the title component.
Right. So, but it should all filter down still. The variable should still filter all the way down to whoever needs. That's kind of the thing about context, is that context don't need to be connected specifically to a child. It just filters its way, it percolates down all the way down.
That's my title.
And then you go to the module Css, the Css module there for title, and you'll have the kind of variable there, right?
The tertiary color,
with a base color. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now, the question is only why your tertiary color didn't make it all the way down here. It smells
maybe
like
it was just
typo or something.
Maybe it was just a slow rendering because I'm streaming. That sometimes happens.
It shouldn't be. So let's try and put it back. I want to put it back onto the.
Let's just open it again. So our shoe store, you want me to put it back.
It's already there. Just take it out from 25. Yeah, line 25.
Okay, so now it's just at the home page level. And let's see if it changes or not. I'm just going to hard refresh.
It's changed back.
Did that refresh?
It changed just as we.
Okay.
Back. To go to shoe store, it changed back to pink.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you want to spend a little time kind of debugging why that didn't.
No, I think I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So is this the best way of doing this, or should we be using a theme context?
So a theme context is a great way to pull together all the various kinds of theme things that you want to do. So you want to theme colors, you want to theme margins, you want to add fonts, you want all sorts of things like that, and you want to be able to control
reuse that theme in different.
Yeah, the theme context enables you to insert to give like a default theme for all of these, but also to override whichever ones of those you want to override. So that theme context component can also take in all sorts of inputs, and then those inputs can override parts of what you want to do. So let's say you want your theme context to include all of the font family, you want it to have the same kind of roundness of buttons, etc., but actually you want to change the color.
Yeah.
Right. So you change that color. I think you froze. There you see. So you change that color by having the theme context component wrapping your app, and then giving it a color parameter. So do you want to try and kind of create a basic theme context component?
Yeah. So just answering question in chat, is that because of caching? No, I think something is messing with my CSS styling because of overriding so many or something. I don't know. But it's some sort of CSS issue. Okay, let's open a new terminal. And we want to create a, let's go back there. There we go. We want to create a theme context, right?
Component, yeah.
Component. Okay, now the cool thing is that if you don't know how to create theme context like me, you can use our templates, which is very, very helpful. Did you not know that?
Didn't we have a
Benji, do you not know how much work I put into creating all these templates?
I know how much work you put in. I just know how much came out of it.
It's a bit slow.
It's very slow. Why is it so slow?
I don't know. Oh, look, I've got weird stuff going on. Oh, great. Couldn't load one of the following extensions. Yeah, this is happening sometimes. I don't know. It should just work. Something to do with how I've set up the envs and the apps and stuff. It's a kind of like work in progress, and it's dodgy territory when you're testing out new things that are not really fully usable. I'm living on the edge. It's terrible living on the edge. So yeah, these are all my components. You can even create your own generator. So I use these all the time because it gives me every single file that you could possibly need to get everything done, and it saves you having to actually manually create files and manually add things together. It does it all for you, and it's maintained by me, so you can be sure it's perfect. And it might not be perfect, but it works, right?
I wouldn't use React Context.
What, you wouldn't use React Context? Why?
No, React Context is a bit of an overkill for a theme context, but if you want to use it, you can use it. But it's you don't need to actually have providers and context, whatever, for theme, because theme with React just percolates down through class name.
Well, let's use it, and then we can delete what we don't need, right?
Okay, we don't need all the context stuff. That's what we're
well, I don't even know what's. I don't even remember what's in here. So
okay, so
let's call it theme, and let's put it in the path of. It's just how I've set up my stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I spell e-commerce? No, I always put 2 C's there. Why do I do that?
You don't want to do like
a
namespace for the theme? Like theme
we could do. What would you call it? Design, style?
Yeah,
theme?
Design, style. It's weird that this theme can be theme/theme. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're using the React Context template. We're using the design namespace. We're putting the theme, which is what we're calling it, inside it. And we're putting it in the path or the directory structure of React e-commerce. That's just the way I called it. So now it's there. And we should see it in design. We have a new folder called design. And look at that.
Theme context.
So let me
it
just
adds the
get
word
that
context
away.
automatically to the component name. Right?
Yeah, like this is the thing. It adds everything for you. So this is my theme context, right? This is my test for it. It checks to see if the color changes to blue. This is my documentation generated for it. This is the mock component that tests out the color. You can delete that if you want to. And this is the actual provider that you said you don't need, but I'm not too sure on all that. And then this is the index that exports everything that you need. So yeah, this is like
your component.
Yeah, so this gives you everything that you need. So then it's just a matter of, this is my way of learning, right? So I don't want to like repeat things all the time. I just want to like generate and bang, and there you go.
Right.
Come on, Benji, you got to say that's cool.
I love it. It's great. I love templates. It's not new for me, so I'm not reacting like it's some great, wonderful thing, but it is great, wonderful, and I use it the whole time as well. And I just asked you to add another template, so I'm totally in.
So now, how do I use my generated template to actually? Because like I get this, like I created this and this works. I know what this does, but how do I use this in a better way? Because this is just like adding a color, and it's not very.
Yeah, so this is
real.
Also, I think, for me, like I said at the beginning, is kind of overkill for applying a theme. Because like we saw at the beginning, you can just apply a theme by adding it as a class name, and then it just percolates down in React to all of the children. The point about having a context theme or any other context in React is that you want to be able to percolate things down without having to kind of to prop bash, I think it's called, where you have to pass it down through this prop, and then the children's props and the grandchild's props and the great grandchild, because the great grandchild twice removed wants to use this context to this value. So you create a context, and the context then it's added as a provider from on top, and then anyone else uses it as a consumer by saying use context, and then you give it the context name, and then they can use the values of that context. So this is what you could use that for a theme, whereby you would take you would provide the color as a string, and then you would use theme context somewhere else. Then the color would be available to whoever's using that theme context there, and then they could apply the color in some sort of CSS or wherever they're going to apply it. But that's quite a complicated way of doing it when you can apply themes and colors behind the scenes and in a more automatic way, whereby people don't have to kind of fetch the color from a context and then apply it themselves somewhere. They just automatically get it via a kind of more automatic theming process. So I personally would take out the provider. You don't need to use a provider. I would, even without the create context, I would just have a context component. In fact, if you can search on bit.dev for our theme context, because this is how we theme is we have just a regular component which passes down to its children. It's a whole lot of classes. So do you want to find on bit.dev inside the base UI?
Going into the, hang on, this is like, I don't know why Chrome has lost my...
Maybe did it. I mean, I know if you do it in Windows, F11 will kind of make it full screen. So
no, F11 is sound for me. Yeah, but it's let me just bring it down.
Maybe escape, just to escape. There you go.
Yeah, but it should be just, it just went weird. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, fun things that I just updated to the newest version of Chrome Canary as well. So maybe they did something. Who knows? Yeah. Living on the edge is the problem, right? I always do this in a live stream as well. Anyway, the thing is that we just want to use a theme.
Base UI. Team bit first and then base UI. Yeah. Dash UI, yeah. So here you'll see how bit themes things, and it's kind of a more kind of native way of theming almost.
Yeah.
But if you see a bit further down, we'll see kind of how it's all built. And it's all built in this kind of modular way that we discussed earlier, whereby you have themes kind of split up into different types of areas you want to theme. So if you scroll down the left-hand side on the menu, scroll a bit further down, you'll get to a theme area. A bit further down, there, theme. Right, so you start with fonts, you've got brand colors, brand definition, color definition, etc. Right, and right at the bottom, you've got this component that brings it all together. The theme provider.
Theme provider.
So if you go to the code tab of the theme provider, you'll see how this theme provider works. And the TSX file. So here, it's basically importing all sorts of different theme areas or sections. So you've got font sizes, you've got shadow theme, you've got primary palette, brands, heading, margins, right? And then all it does, it passes them all down through the class name, right? And then it just passes it down to all its children. So you scroll down a bit more, you scroll.
This is it.
Yeah, okay, so you then apply that theme component around anything you like, and then everything inside it gets past all of these class names. And these class names actually pass down things like variables and, class and CSS kind of values, etc. You can have a look at one of those. Try to go to primary palette. They're all kind of available on the left-hand side. It's taken from color definition. So if you go to color definition component, you'll see how that's it's color definition, not colors. Two up from there. The colors is also colors is used by color definition. This is the Css variables. Then color definition creates a, like we did before, creates just a class called primary palette, and inside that class is a whole load of CSS variables. Right? This is just variables with their values, right? And the values are the Css variables, doesn't matter how you create the values. And then that in the theme provider is just literally applied as a class on the theme provider component. And then that class, those values are automatically passed down.
Okay, so let's keep it simple. I don't know why that's in. It should be back. Let's keep it simple and just try to do like, oh yeah, so this is because I don't have a color theme.
I would get rid of your theme, the context kind of thing. You don't need to create a whole context and pass it down like that. You can just create it as a regular component. Have class names on that, have classes on that regular component that it passes down.
So what's the point in a theme context in React if there's no point in using it? So why do we have theme context in React? Because that's in the docs,
We don't have a theme
right?
context, we just have context.
Yeah, but this is called, this is the theme context as in like the context called theme, right? So why?
Because we created a context called theme, but you don't actually need
Yeah.
to use context for theming in React.
But why not? So like why?
Because theming and CSS is something that automatically percolates down. The reason why you have React context is essentially to percolate down data through all the children and your sub-children, whatever, so they can get to the place that wants to use it. But when it comes to actual CSS and theming, that happens anyway. That percolates down all the way through its children anyway. So you don't need to have that we added the green color on the top level layout of your store. That got down to the text inside, the heading inside, the title inside the, right? It all percolates down anyway. So specifically for theming, you don't need context. You don't need this kind of context provider and consumer and all that stuff that React provides in order to be able to apply contextual data across an app. It's very useful for a lot of scenarios. Just for theming, you don't need it.
Very confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing that our kind of basic context template is a theme context.
Well, it's just basically how the React. It's how the React docs does it as well. So it's kind of like.
Right. So it's also.
But yeah, no. This is how. This is how they're doing it on how other teams are doing it in Bit. So this is why it was created. This was actually created by Ran. This example.
Okay, we can use it. You can't. We don't need to kind of specifically not use it, but it's just I'm not sure of how theme context and stuff works. So this is the only thing I've learned so far when it comes to theming in React, right? So this is as far as I've learned. You can see how to use the theme as it is. I mean, inside the composition file that you created as part of the template.
Yeah. It's passing down the theme provider.
The theme provider gets the color blue.
Yeah.
And then the mock component does a use context on the theme context, and it applies the theme.color.
Yeah.
Right. But that's when it comes to variables. I'm not even sure how you would do that with variables. Like if you want to theme via variables. That sounds quite complicated. Whereas if you just used a class and then passed that class down, that works out of the box natively.
So this is more like for CSS and JS and things like that, right?
Yes, for data that you want to be available. Like examples that are readily used, usually are things like authentication context. You want to be able to understand what the username is anywhere in your app. So you have an authentication context that sits at the top. It tells everyone, hi, username is this, so everyone needs it. And then whoever needs it does use context, authentication context, takes the data from that context, and then says, right, I know what username is, so I'm going to...
Okay, so let's try and get this working.
Yeah, let's get back to theme context.
It's gone too complicated. Gone too complicated.
Okay, so get rid of the provider file. Delete. Move to trash. I think your composition you're going to have to just mark out for the moment. Get on line 2, just get rid of the theme provider because it doesn't exist. On line 2, the import. Yeah. And get rid of the... You can just comment out the whole composition for the moment. You don't need to use it at all. Yeah, we'll make a new composition in a minute, which does something differently. Okay, now in the theme context.tsx, right here you got to get rid of that as well. I'll do it like here, yeah. So the theme context, or just theme, however you want to call it, here you don't want to create context. You just want to have equals without the create context. You can call it a theme, yeah. Get rid of the create context. That would be theme type, I guess. The props, yeah. Yeah, and then you can get rid of the create context with the type. It would just be a regular function. Equals. Yeah, and then you want to have like brackets for the props, and then the arrow afterwards. Or we can just do equals export function instead of constant. Maybe export function on line 8. Yeah, this is going to be a function component, and then you don't do the equals, you do just brackets. Brackets after the theme, not before the theme.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Done.
And then without the equals, right, and now you're good. And now inside the brackets of the theme, you can add your props. But we don't need the props at the moment. In fact, we don't need props right now. Props will be in order to be able to override our base theme. Right? So our theme, we're just going to...
Your internet was a little unstable there, so I didn't hear what you said.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Probably your internet. It could be my internet, I don't know.
I
don't know. Okay, so let's so we'll return from this function theme.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and then open brackets, yeah, and then just a div. Yeah, and this div is going to have class name. You're going to want to import React and class names at the top, by the way.
Okay.
Big R React, big R, yeah, for React, and then class names as well.
Oops. Go back.
By the way, I just do CS. It makes it much easier to because it's a default import. You can call it whatever you like. That just import
I know,
CS,
but I got confused on little words and stuff. Then, like when you're learning, CS doesn't mean anything to you, so you don't know what it means. So I find it very
fair enough.
I find it very difficult when you're coming from the view world and you see CS and stuff, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" Right? So I like to kind of like, yeah.
Okay, yeah, understand. Okay, so inside your div, you want to have a class name, yeah, equals, and then we're going to create some classes, right? Open brackets, yeah. So now inside you want to add a module Sass file. I mean, there's different ways to do this. If in the component we saw from bit.dev, all of these classes were taken from outside, right? We need to split up all of the various parts of your theme into, colors and everything. We don't need to do that yet, but that's kind of the next stage. First, we're going to hard code it inside the theme component. We'll create a module Sass file, and inside there, we're going to create a theme. So create a module theme.module.sass. First CSS.
Okay.
And we're going to create a dot colors or dot theme, whatever, dot colors. Yeah. And now we're just going to have a whole load of variables. So what you had in your root of your store.
Just copy it, right? Where is it?
Yeah, just copy it. So the theme styles, instead of here, we're going to have it inside our theme component. And you can actually bring in the font family as well.
No, I just left there. But then it shouldn't be under colors, right?
Yeah, then you take it out of shoe store. Take it out of here.
Take it out completely?
Yeah, take it all out. We'll put it in the theme first, and then we'll take it out of here.
Okay. So
theme module.sass.
So should I do another one called fonts?
Yeah, do that fonts. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's go back to our theme context.tsx. We have to include.
Oh, that's the test. Sorry.
CSX. We have to include now our module.sass file. So import styles. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, we've gone up to 7.
Oh gosh, Visual Studio Code. Why do you do those things to me? Theme
dash context.
Module.
The theme module. Okay.
Yeah. I know.
Right.
Never mind.
And then Visual Code doesn't understand how to read modules for some reason from that. So styles. Yeah. Why doesn't it like that?
That normally works.
Yeah, I think it's just TypeScript not working out what your styles is. Do Control-Shift-P. And then restart. Type in restart.
Yeah, but I don't think it's. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it doesn't like.
We'll see, because we might need to. Have you got a types folder in here?
No. No, there's something up in here.
Why doesn't it like this? Can't find the module theme .module.
That's normal. That always shows up, right? It can never find the module. That's fine. You don't have to worry about that. Theme.module.css. It's here that's the issue for some reason. So if I go styles.
1 second. Class names doesn't have to be in an object. You've got an extra object there.
Okay.
Take out the first bracket is great. Yeah, styles. There you go. It's even completing it for you. Great. Okay.
And I got an extra bracket. There we go. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right. So now we want to wrap our app with this theme.
Okay. So our shoe app.
Yeah. And you don't need the props, but we can get with the props later.
Okay.
So app.tsx. App. So now you're going to have to import that new component. We want to wrap
the layout, for example, now.
Yeah, we're going to import that new component. You won't be able to use it until you've imported it. Would this do it? I don't think it'll do it. No.
I removed it actually because it imports it relative and Bit doesn't allow relative imports, so then it's a bit annoying. So this makes sure you kind of like don't leave relative imports. So I removed the possibility of.
I think it's a big theme.
So this is the thing, right? That we want this from the actual component.
Exactly.
Right? Which is
learn harmony. Dash, and then you just type in theme and it'll take it from there. Here you go. Context.theme.
No, e-commerce design. I have another one there from another project, and this is called theme context.
Okay, and now you're going to have theme context being used on line 23, and then you'll close it around the layout. So take the close tag and then put it outside the layout. Exactly.
Okay.
Right, so now we've got theme context.
So now if we go in here and we have pink, right? So everyone remember that pink is the color. And let's remove that.
and then get rid of your theme style in the class names and the app.tsx, so we know that there's no way that this can be kind of applied from local.
So remove this.
You can get rid of all the class names. That's just the whole thing. Yeah, that's the only one that's left.
So there's just the product theme. We'll leave that in there, right?
Yeah, you can leave that in. It's
now.
just the green color, but now we want to make sure that all the other colors look like they should.
Okay, I need to start the server because we because when you add a new component, you need to restart the server.
As in, we still have a bug. That's
it's
not by design.
No. Yeah. So just when you use BitCrate, it tells you it's not able to handle it, and it's like, yes, you can, and you just refresh the server, and then it all good.
Right.
So that's why the error comes up.
Known bug.
Here. Yeah, and it just says module parse failed, and you're like, what? What did I do? But you didn't do anything. It's just, it's just not able. Yeah. Life could be worse, Okay, let's see what's happening. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. It's looking good.
As it should. The shoe store. Does it have a nice, is it pink color? It's not pink color.
It's not rendered yet. I've got nothing. Come on.
Yeah, but when it renders, it'll be kind of a
come on, Webpack, right? You can do it. Yeah, it should be pink.
I think the purple
it shouldn't be
pink. It'll be beigey kind of thing, right?
Yeah, with a pink text, right?
Right. Pinky peachy text. I think.
Yeah. I'm not getting anything. Did I break something?
No, it's still rendering. Have a look at the terminal. What's that?
Oh, the theme context has still got some stuff. We didn't.
So inside the index file, you need to export it properly.
We didn't.
Here, index
no,
file?
It's because here I'm importing here. So don't do this at home. This is not good practice.
I think also there's an issue in the theme context file. Oh, that was just the.
And let's just make sure. Oh, and yeah, because the docs is importing this as well. So let's just, again, don't do this at home. Always write good tests and good documentation. But for now.
And also 19 and 20. All of this stuff.
Well, this is just inside a code block. So it's kind of fine. But we'll just, just comment out for now, and then we'll fix it later, because that's not the objective.
And the index is exporting the right thing?
I need to remove.
Theme provider, and then theme context. Why can't I find a theme context? I think you just called it theme, no?
Yeah, we changed the name. Oh, and then we need to change the name in here because I called it in my context, shoe store. Yeah. I call it theme context.
So right at the beginning, the import needed to change.
Oops. That is the good thing about TypeScript. It does tell you when things go wrong.
Right, exactly. Here, 9.12, yeah. I thought it was called theme. All right.
Okay, so children element has no properties, so I need to do something about the children. Always children, Benji. Why do the children always give me a hard time in React?
Children are difficult.
Is this because of this color? Should I remove this?
No, we haven't applied the prop, so it should be okay.
But we don't need them anyway, do we? So let's not have them because. So why does it need it? There is no children here.
Right.
Why do I always get children problems? Type children element has no properties in common with type
we should add
intrinsic attributes.
Can you go back to the base UI implementation?
Oh, because
I think you may need to type.
Because here I need to actually put this thing here, right? and React dot HTML. Oops. HTML attributes type. This is a div, right? We're wrapping a div around it, so we need to put a div.
Div element.
Is it called element div? Element
HTML.
div.
I think also it's HTML. HTML div element. HTML.
Oh, Siri, I don't want you. I don't think you can help me with TypeScript. Do you think? Could you imagine?
You missed an M. You missed an M. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. I took it from the. So this is the issue. Now, do we need to put children in here?
I thought you did, but I can see in the way.
Big children. We don't want big children. We want little children.
They always start little. You need to start with little children, and then they'll get big in the middle.
And we need to pass it in
inside here. Yeah, you want to put it inside a curly brackets in there.
Oh yeah.
So that it can extrapolate it from the props.
And there we go. Now the children are happy, and they can be any type they want. Oh my gosh, so hardcore, these children in React. Benji, you've got someone there, Footy, saying hello. Hello there, Footy, Constant. And we've got Prototype in the house. Coding Garden had to leave, but the stream will continue. You think he can watch it later?
The show must go on, yes.
The show must go on, right. We have children, yes. Conquered the children. I'm getting better at this.
Children, I'm just going to say. We don't.
I'm getting better at this React.html attributes and TypeScript HTML development thing. Sometimes I don't know why I'm doing it. I just know I have to do it, so I just do it. But yeah. Right. And we're not exporting the theme props, so we probably should do that as well.
And we don't necessarily need to use the theme props.
So then it's fine. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and if no one else is using the theme props, then you wouldn't need to export it.
Even do it.
Maybe it's
we
good
need
practice
it for
to export it anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so now here's my.
Store looks pretty good, right?
Well, there's my pink.
But
okay, now this is
all of the colors. All of the colors are getting applied because of your theme, right?
Yeah.
Even that beige.
But you know what's interesting? What's interesting is if we go to this is our theme, right? So the beige. Primary is the beige color. Secondary is the blue color. The pink color. Right, so it's getting the whole theme, and just to like prove it, we can put in what color do you want, Benji? Purple.
Yeah, it's quite similar to the pink. Purple, yeah.
Oh gosh, come on.
Let's do. You want to see the change? That's the.
Let's do orange.
Orange, yeah, orange. That's better. That's different to pink.
We should see. Look, we went purple for a second, right? That's what catching up, and now it's gonna go orange, like a rainbow. There we go. Look at that. Look at that.
Orange, okay.
Right. So that was kind of cool, right? See how it changed? I didn't have to do anything.
Exactly. So that's theme contexting, right? Now the next
one
stage.
One second.
This is not your base theme, right?
Yeah. I have an interesting question.
Yeah.
If I may. So remember, we changed green, and we applied this here. So now this is not going to work. Why does this not work here? If I've now said that the tertiary color is going to be green, and I'm trying to override the theme, and I can't.
I think we took it away.
Did we?
Yeah.
You think? I don't think we did.
We did. We applied it again at the homepage level.
We applied the homepage where it's not working. So just kind of. So really, I could do this on the theme. Would that be the right thing to do?
You could do it even below the theme. You do it inside the layout.
But it's not. I don't accept class names, so it's not going to let me. But let me just do it on the layout.
Do it on the layout.
So I just wanted to prove a point of that we can't override the theme, because I just want to, I don't know, make sure everything is doable. So it should be green. Yes. Okay. So you can override your theme.
Yeah. See, the way that this kind of percolating down of variables and class names works is that it percolates down, but then if something else underneath changes it, then that will override the higher one, right? So percolate down, then you can adjust some parts of it over here, and then take most of this theme, but then a bit of this will kind of change a bit of it. So it all kind of comes down with a small amount. I'm going to go below my canvas so you can't see. So that's the themable. Then just one more stage I want to do, just so we can kind of show the proof of concept of how you do this inside the theme context. Inside the theme context variable component, the theme variable component. Yeah,
the variables. Yeah.
Not in the variables, in the theme the TSX file.
Oh, okay.
So now what you want to do, the next stage is you can have an input of a colors class, right? So you would add into the props, you'd say colors. I want props of colors of any, I think you can do, or do this a specific,
in here.
Specific time. Yep. And do colors.
Colors to be applied. This is just our docs.
Colors to override. To override.
Colors. Any, like we don't necessarily need to apply it.
Any, yeah, exactly, and any. Right, so this is the colors to override, really. If you're going to document it, then I would document it as colors to override the default theme colors.
Okay.
And now look what you can do. You can do, inside the class names, you would do colors or styles.colors. So if colors doesn't exist, take my default. If colors does exist, then override the style.colors that come from inside the theme styling.
Okay, so styles.colors equal colors.
No.
No.
Colors.
What am I doing? Bar, the line.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before, it has to come before, otherwise it won't override. Right, this is kind of very regular JavaScript kind of syntax. Colors,
So we're saying
double thing. Another one.
Oops. Okay. I've got to pass it down, otherwise it won't know it exists.
Yes, right.
So we're basically saying
what does this do? This is JavaScript, essentially. We're saying take the colors object if it exists. If it doesn't exist, do styles.colors.
Use my CSS variable file.
Use my default. Right. This is the default inside the theme. Right. So now you could go to your app. You could pass a colors class. You could create your own colors class. Pass it inside.
Colors
the
is
theme.
missing, but we put it as optional. Why does it think it wants it?
I think you have to put it as optional inside your props as well. Inside your
we didn't export it either, so now we really need to export it.
No, that should
I put it as optional here.
Yeah, but you didn't say that this is a type theme props. So on line 11, when you said children and colors, it just thinks, right, colors have to be there.
Ooh, I knew that. So that's here.
Yeah, exactly. Dot theme props.
Okay.
Now you go back to your app, and then.
And I should export it? No, I do not need to export it.
You don't need to export it unless someone else is going to try and use specifically.
Unless you're going to import it. Okay. Yeah. I always export because I never know.
It's good practice to export because then you enable that API to anyone who wants to use it. So if someone does want to kind of create an object, which is a type this, and then so you see that's fine now.
So now
you could create your own like class here, and then pass it inside the colors equals your own class.
Styles.Debbie.
Yeah, and then inside your module Sass, you'd say Debbie, and then override one of these things. So override maybe the tertiary color again. Let's go back to that.
Let me just put here Debbie.
Exactly, Debbie, and
we'll put the primary color of red, yellow,
color,
orange. And I don't think we're even using that. Let's do the text color of purple. Let's make it really ugly.
Actually, I think it's quite nice. but I have no. That's why I'm not a designer.
Right, let's see what happens to my shoe store. Oh wow, look at my button. That looks like Budget Travel. Do you know, I used to work for when I first got sent to Mallorca, I used to work for Budget Travel, and this was their color scheme. Because it's budget, right? So red and yellow, and that was
budget
my uniform was all yellow with a red logo. Oh my god, memories. So
but
yeah, that works.
Interestingly enough, your ternary color hasn't changed to orange, hasn't changed to green.
No, because it's overridden down below by the product.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's
that can change here if I just change this to I don't know, give me another color. Oh, I always forget about this feature, and it's quite cool. Like if I was to take that color,
yeah, then it would just go ready.
Then it will change that there. So, okay, that's kind of cool. So then that means I don't have to bother about. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh, scary.
Okay, so that's quite cool. And you didn't need to use the whole context thing. You just kind of use class names and use React's kind of natural percolating down of classes. In fact, HTML's natural percolating down of classes.
And it does mean then if my sports store wants to have exactly the same colors as a shoe store, I don't need to do any work because it's in the theme, the base theme, for example.
The base theme would have, or the base theme and the base theme would you'll probably take most of what's in the base theme because it will include more things than just these 5 colors.
Margins as well and things like that, right?
You want to have all of those things kind of as a base of your CSS of your app, and then you would change a few colors here and there for different themes.
So in this file, would you put it like this, or would you have it as mini files? Or how would you structure this? So, like imagine I'm having, I don't know, dot margins.
It's really up to you.
I don't know.
You can have different,
I don't know, for example.
Right. Yeah.
But it's as a CSS variable, right?
Yeah. So it's up to you. Really, it's up to you how you kind of feel best works with how you want to apply your themes.
Okay.
Because you may have a few different types of base theme, right? If you have 25 different websites in your organization, and they're split up into 4 groups, where each group kind of has its different base theming of colors, and then they have kind of their own ways of I don't know, margining out the site, whatever it is. So then you want to have maybe different theme, and then each one maybe will use the same sizing, but they want to use different colors. Then what you could do is split out your sizing into a component. Each one of those themes will take that sizing component, so it's only created once, right? Okay. But then they would each kind of take different colors as their base default. Like depending on how big and how wide and how reusable these themes are, or how you want to create reusable chunks that then can be used across different types of themes, or that would depend on how much you want to break it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe start like off as one and then extract it out as it gets
exactly bigger, right? That's always the best way to work with Bit. We kind of discussed this yesterday, right? You can make things very generic with Bit and then kind of use them in different places and then concrete them. But the best way to kind of make that generic is to start off with something specific. See that specific thing can actually be made into something generic, and then use that generic thing in different places, and then kind of create more specific implementations of the generic.
Okay,
right? So it's very hard to start with just generic. Yeah.
Just going over like this product card module, this product card has a header and has a footer inside it, right? That's kind of how it works. So the padding is, gives it its padding, etc. And then it's overriding the title component and the image component to give it a height so that the product card is a specific height. Is that correctly done here in the product card?
I don't know. So inside the product card is a title.
Title component.
Right, but it's not necessarily overriding it. You're adding a margin for the title component, right?
Yeah, I'm basically, because the title component is a H5 component, which automatically by HTML gets a margin. So I'm resetting the margin in this specific case.
Yeah, there's no problem with doing that.
Okay, so we do inside the component override things. It's correct, like the image. But I could make this a variable, right?
Exactly. Another way to do that would have your title have the margin as a variable, and then have that, but themable. But that gets kind of more. It gets a bit kind of messy if you have everything as variables and then you're kind of overriding variables the whole time. Variables are something that you want to be using as something that can kind of distribute to a whole load of CSS inside your app. If you're redefining variables the whole time, kind of one variable here, one variable there, then it may be just best to redefine as a class, like a margin, rather than having a margin variable that wouldn't be kind of used widely across the app. Like if you want to have all of your title margins changed, then make the margin inside of your title a variable. If you want to be changing just the title that's used in one place, then you want to be kind of changing just the margin in that place, and then don't have to mess around with the variables and that kind of.
Okay. The same with the image here, because the image of the product card, I want it to be this height, but in another place I'm using it and it's a different height. But in the original one, there is no height. So it's actually applying as opposed to overriding.
Yeah. There's still a place for applying kind of little bits of classes here and there. You don't have to override everything with a theme.
Okay.
A theme is kind of a wider use of kind of defaults for a whole site. So
Okay, cool. So that's it.
Cool,
we have our beautiful theme override.
It's wonderful. I'm only glad we did this.
I know. I want to ship this.
Website.
I want to ship this right now. This is the perfect example of how to make a beautiful theme.
Happy we managed to get there.
Okay. Let's call it a day, Benji. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks everyone for watching. And we will see you again next time for whatever we're going to do next. Who knows? All right. Take care. Bye.
See ya. Bye.